You are listening to the World Sports Show on WPPM-LP Philadelphia. Soccer-based sports talk covering local, nation, and global soccer. Broadcasting from the Philly Cam studio in Center City, Philadelphia on 106.5 FM.
And welcome, World Sports Show. Charlie Flo here, John DeCriscio, March the 6th. Full winter effect. Cold one out there, John.
That's right.
Back to doing the show. Can't decide what season we're in right now. The calendar still says winter, so we're going to go with it. A lot of football, soccer action to talk about this past week. We're going to start with our big news. The She Believes Cup kicked off this past Tuesday in Chester, PA, with France beating England by a score of 2-1 in stoppage time. In a battle of the top teams in the world, USA edged Germany by a score of 1-0 with a second-half goal from Lynn Williams. On Saturday, Germany and France squared off to a 0-0 draw in Red Bull Arena, and England shocked USA with a 1-0 win from an 89th-minute goal from Ellen White. MLS got underway this weekend. Local player Derek Jones got to start and helped his team to a 0-0 draw in Vancouver. Chelsea remained top of the EPL. Barcelona sits 1 point above Real Madrid in Spain. Bayern Munich is on the top spot in Germany. Juve holding it down in Serie A. And French side Monaco sits on top of the French league. So a lot to talk about on the men and women's side. And it's always good, John, when our domestic league and the good old USA kicks off.
That's right. And then, we're just talking about the weather.
Yeah.
Nice chilly weekend all the way around for the, the Mid-Atlantic, all the states. Got some games hovering around 30 degrees, but I guess on the field, once the game's going.
Yeah.
They say that they don't feel it, but come on. Dude, it's 30 degrees.
Some of them do say they
freezing.
feel it. There was plenty of the games that were in the... We might as well use the Celsius meter to make it sound colder.
You can use whatever meter you want.
Yeah,
basically,
cold is cold, dude. Whatever. If you're using, you can be using Calvin for all I care, and it's cold. So, but yeah, some very, very cold weather games. Interesting that if the MLS would have kicked off last weekend, you would have had 70-degree weather games.
Yeah, go figure. And then I'm sure this weekend in Chester, Pennsylvania, which is, basically a 20-minute drive south of Philadelphia, you're looking at, what are we at? 30 degrees, chance of snow for the home opener.
Lake effect snow.
Right.
Delaware River effect snow. And that's always a neat thing, that beautiful setup there. It's great in the summertime when you have that cool breeze coming off the river, but man, that first month of the MLS season, games in March, it's very unpredictable. It's funny is, like, John, we talk about like the different seats that people want. The north side of the stadium where the sun kind of in the evenings shining down. Everybody wants those seats in the winter.
Of course.
But in summertime, nobody wants those seats.
No. Hot. Very, very hot. So it's just blazing in the sun. So, yeah, I mean.
And you're in the supporter section, so that's always very tricky.
So we get the best of both worlds, the freezing and the heat.
There you go. There you go. So, again, reminder to fans out there this coming up weekend, go down to Talent Energy Stadium. Still not used to it. Doesn't roll off the tongue like it used to, but check it out. Union are hosting Toronto FC this Saturday, a little bit after 4 o'clock. So I always tell people, show up like it's a 3 o'clock kickoff so you can get down there early. Nothing better than having a packed stadium before the game actually starts.
Yep.
So they'll be down there. Lots of tailgating down there. It's something I look forward to every year, getting down there and hanging with our good Colombian friends that, man, I think the pregame and postgame is almost more eventful than the game, it feels like, sometimes with their tailgating action.
Yeah. Most of the time.
Yeah. So let's dig into the old She Believes Cup. This is the second year of this little tournament. They have a 4-team tournament, and this year it features USA hosting England, France, Germany, and obviously our host USA are participating in this. I mean, you're looking at 4 of the top 10 teams in the world. I mean, there's a lot of other teams that you can argue as a top 10, but these programs, what they're doing now, I look at it, These are 4 teams that could easily be your Final Four in the next Women's World Cup.
That's right.
I mean, you just look at there's not been a blowout in a single tournament.
Nope.
It's been draw and 1-goal games. Draws and 1-goal games type of ideas we talked about that on the show last week, that there's probably not going to be anything over the 3 goals, maybe a 2-goal difference, but we look at the score lines. England's beat by France 2-1, 1-0 USA, 0-0 game, and a 1-0 game.
I mean, that's kind of funny that we say that, because we have been talking about it, that the tournament has been set up, especially with the tiebreaker, for a goal differential as a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Thus, let's improve some scoring.
Yeah.
And what do we get?
So
Minimal scoring.
Yeah, coming into tomorrow in D.C., you have everybody can win this tournament except Germany. So you have 3 teams, and the only team that really controls their 100% destiny is France. France is sitting on 4 points. England and USA both sitting on 3 points. Germany sitting on 1 point. So really, France is in a driver's seat.
Looking good. I mean,
yeah.
We saw them actually steal a game, when we were at the round 1 in Chester, Pennsylvania. Steal a game, last play of the game, basically.
Yeah. It go from they're down a goal, then tie the game up, and then steal one in extra time. You go from you could have lost the game to now you beat England in stoppage time. You tie the Olympic champion Germany up at Red Bull Arena this weekend. Now you're sitting on 4 points. I mean, that's a huge turnaround from what it looked like England was going to beat them.
Yeah, and it was interesting to see, what lineup France was going to put out there, having, some of, a number 10 come off the bench, one of their top playmakers, scorers come off the bench, and, for stability. Instead, other teams have been playing, I don't want to say your star player, but, your starters play, then, intermixing some young players and some average players, but, I'm going to say average national teams, so above that for national level.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
But, yeah, right. So,
I mean, I think one of the big factors for France is Camille Abily. I mean, coming off the bench in the first game, sparking her team, getting a win, playing and starting on Saturday, and it's one of those teams that you can't write off. This is a really good French team that the U.S. ended up going into a friendly in France a couple years ago, and really France took it to them, and I think this is a French team that they're going to put a lot of resources into this. They're the next host of the Women's World Cup, so they're really going to put a lot of resource into having a really good program.
Right, and actually the game, you after spoke to Camille, and here we go. Here's how it sounded.
Charlotte Flo World Sports Show. What does it mean for you guys to be down and just get 2 late goals in this game to win?
Yeah, it's really great. It was a tough game, and we are really happy to come back and score 2 goals and win the game.
What about your role tonight coming off the bench? How did you embrace that?
Yeah, I think players start the game did a great job, and we have a lot of players on the bench came in, and it was great. Like Wendy Renard scored a nice goal just at the end.
One of the best, you have class right there. That's one of the best players in the world, and not complaining, comes off the bench, embraces her role, leads her team to a victory.
That's right. Very humble about it. Coming on.
Yeah.
She came on and definitely noticed a spark.
Yeah.
Everybody seemed to be more relaxed, more control, and I guess that's what happens when you got a player of her caliber coming in.
I think that game was a game of two tales. That it's separate 45 minutes. First half, England was all over them, but they can only come out with 1 goal. But England get 2 goals. I think they easily pull off that game. But that's the thing in the soccer world. You just got to stay in a game. Keep it a 1-goal game, and you're in it.
That's right.
Even a 2-goal game, you can find a way. So very, very good. The French right now, I mean, they're in the driver's seat, and we never know what could happen tomorrow night.
Yeah. And actually, as well, after the game, we spoke to England's coach, Mark Sampson, and this is how it sounded.
Charlotte Flo World Sports Show, Mark Sampson off a 2-1 loss to France. Definitely a defeat, but what do you take from this match?
Oh, the overriding emotion is disappointment. We did enough in the first half to finish off France and then enjoy the second half, but we weren't ruthless enough. We had moments to score goals, but we didn't take them, and that's disappointing. Really felt we could have come in at half-time in a much better position. And then second half, I think we made a lot of errors that cost us, and credit to France, their character shone through in terms of finding that late winner.
What do do you tell a team like this when you guys have a game that you played so well, but just you didn't finish that fast last 3 minutes?
Put it to bed. We put it to bed and we move on to the next one. And as of tomorrow morning, we're going to think about USA. We've got to find a way to win that one. Today we come up short, particularly in the second half. And I think from a coaching point of view, I'll be sitting down with my staff and working out where we went wrong in that second half, because I thought the players' effort was excellent. But I think we made some choices that were wrong in the second half that didn't give them the best chance to win. So we'll have to reflect on that and make sure we don't make those errors again.
How much lineup change or tactics will you change coming for Saturday?
Good question. I don't know at the moment. I think we're going to have to go away tonight and really be clear with what's happened tonight and find a way to beat America. We're very, very much a next game focused team. So as I get home tonight, I'll put my head in the pillow, get my head in USA, and work out we're going to beat them, and then work out what I think players can suit the type of game we need to play.
Well, thank you for your time and best of luck.
Thank you again.
That was Mark Sampson, head coach of England's women's national team. Straight shooter tells you how it is. I think it's always good when a coach gives you a little gem into how they're going to handle the next game.
Very straight shooter. I mean, as far as a coach coming in and, picking out exactly what their game plan is, I mean, he's pretty straight. I mean, that's as straight as you can get when you're England talking about playing one of the top teams. You can debate 1 or 2 in the world. Let's consider number 1 because that's how we look at it. But
FIFA,
coming in FIFA rankings. But as a club coming in, as a national club, how we're going to win. He's going to take away. Look what they done wrong. He said they were playing right, but he pretty much admitted, hey, it might have been the coach's fault. When do you ever hear not fault, but it was the coaches need to get themselves together.
Yep, he's got to sit and review. He's had to put his head on the pillow, review that game, move forward. Don't dwell on it. Just do your best. You look at this scenario. They lose to France in the opening game. You think, man, you've got USA next. You've got the best team in the world. Your chances of winning this tournament were probably down to 5%.
Easy.
Yeah.
That's how it was.
But a real coach doesn't dwell on that pass. You take what you did. You learn from it. You realize, hey, I made some mistakes, maybe tactically, maybe sub-wise. Maybe we just didn't finish it as a team. Took the blame, move forward.
Yeah, move forward. And then, skipping across to the U.S. women's national side, interesting to see, traditionally the U.S. women play with a 4 defensive back system. Interesting, which I don't think I've ever seen. They played with 3 defensive backs. In my opinion, we have 2 of the best center backs in the land and, continent, maybe even in the world. So it was interesting to see the center backs get spread out and another midfielder, another holding midfielder get inserted. But at first I didn't know how to take it. I'm like, is it going to be a good thing? Is it going to be a bad thing? But
especially against Germany.
right. Especially, in a tournament, I guess, this is kind of, I would say the Big 4 tournament, for what it's worth. But, I don't know. It's kind of, as a coach, you're years of playing a 4-back system going to 3. It's a pretty big topic, to go on.
Big thing that sticks out to me when I go 3 backs, they better cover some ground.
Right.
You have some center backs and kind of hang and do a lot of, you have the backup to the backup. But when you got 3 center backs, you don't have that extra center back to jump in. If your right back or left back gets beat, what's that center back going to do? Because they get beat, it's a clear path to the goal.
They say it's the goalie to me. It's keeper. So
that's their 4th back.
ultra confidence in the keeper. So they better have confidence in the keeper and the backup keeper to play a 3-back system. But we did speak to Carli Lloyd at Talon Energy Stadium over there, and this is how it went.
Outplayed them. We definitely probably could have had 3 or 4 more goals. But overall, some really good stuff. And, I think the formation suits us. At the end of the day, it's soccer, and we've got to just kind of move the ball and see what's on. And, we did that tonight and had some great attacks.
So that was Carli Lloyd. Charlie did interview her. And as you can tell in the interview, we do have – it's actually a mixed media zone at the stadium. So basically – we try and get the interview when it's multiple media outlets, basically jockeying for, the players to get sound bites. So, as you can hear, it's active. I mean, you can hear the fans roaring in the background during the games, different people talking. So it's, as far as being a media outlet at the games, we kind of have to,
got to jockey yourself your position,
That's
man.
right. So
we've luckily had built up some good relationships with England over the last couple of weeks. That all of our England interviews were one-on-one, so England has been very amazing. Yeah, big shout out to England out there and all their press officers and all their staff members. I just want to just thank England, because they said yes to every single thing we requested.
Well, if I would have known that, I would have requested some food.
Bring over some fish and chips, mate. Sorry,
it's not a bad joke.
We're trying to talk soccer. England was giving me everything I needed. Now they're going to cut me off tomorrow. Right. My bad.
With Charlie Flo, this is Johnny Chris here. You're listening to the World Sports Show on WPPM LP FM 106.5 Philadelphia. And we're talking about She Believes Cup.
Yeah, it moved up to North Jersey on Saturday. And John, I know you had some busy things to do. And big shout out to Rachel Breton of Sky Blue. And she ended up filling in and helping out, first time working on the media side. So we're going to have her on the show at the bottom of the hour talking about her experience and her as a reporter watching the game as a player reporter. So it was very, very interesting watching these games sitting next to a professional player. It was if I'm not sitting next to a coach, I think the next best thing sitting next to a professional player that they know what they're watching.
Exactly. Analyze the play.
Oh, yeah.
Nuances. I mean, for us, the learning curve of professional actually to sit there is we have to learn. We're still learning as coaches, but to have a professional player help out and to be a part of the team is pretty good.
Yeah, and in the game against France and Germany, it was a 0-0, but we had a save PK, a couple shots hit the woodwork. One of the more exciting 0-0 games I could ever go to. I mean, you and I are both keeper coaches, so hey, I get a 0-0, then hey man, pat both keeper coaches on the back.
Yeah, that's right. But as a 0-0 draw, as I always say, and I've been for my whole career, is nobody gets a point on a 0-0 draw.
I like that idea,
especially a home team.
I would love that if you have like some type of league, you have 3 for a win, a draw, any multiple goal draw, 1 point each. But 0-0 draw, you both get 0 points. I wonder if that would really make teams push, because you see teams, like, for example, a team that's on the road in 0-0, they're just going to sit in and be like, all right, we're not going to push it because we're going to walk out with a point, so why push it?
And to be honest, I say 90% of the 0-0 draw games that I do watch are, it almost is like the coaches are playing for that 0-0 draw. Not in this case.
Yeah, just feeling each other out. They're just kind of like,
right.
Yeah, so, but no, a very good game. We were able to talk to a couple of the other players, after that game. We talked to Mark Sampson. We talked to Camille Abily, Dzsenifer, Marozsán from Germany.
Come on, man. Let's get the right pronunciation here. It's
Dzsenifer.
Dzsenifer Marozsán.
Yeah.
We actually, some of the names are tough. I mean, considering my English is absolutely brutal.
Yeah, I just mumbled it there.
Right. So we before the show, we try and get the pronunciation guide through the media or through the internet. We try to translate her, but we both butchered it. And to go back to Rachel Breton as far as her interviewing chops, let's get a listen here how she did with a little interview. Here we go.
So today you guys really brought it up, like around the 58th minute. What was said at halftime for you guys to really set the pace?
Yeah, I think we make a really good game today. It was not the same like against USA, but yeah, I'm proud of my team. We do all what we say before the game, and just we don't score. That's the 1 point what we can do better for the next game.
What do you think about this game that made a big difference between your last game against USA?
We play really well soccer, and that's our game, and we play together, and we are not afraid, and it was really, really better than in the first game.
What do you look forward to for your next game?
I hope we can win and we do the same like today, and with a happy end, and we score.
And there was our good friend Rachel Breton, reporter on the beat, So, yeah, I mean, it's interesting because you look at Germany, they lose first game 1-0 to USA, and then 0-0 France. It is an improvement. It's just you got to get the goals together, but shutting any type of team out on the road is an accomplishment within itself.
I think that's a start as far as being a coach. After a loss, it's not like saying, all right, next game we're going to come out and score 5 goals. Next game our start is going to be, let's not let the goal in.
Clean sheet.
Shut out. There you go.
And, I mean, you look at it that Germany misses a PK. I mean, so a lot of times they'd win that game 1-0, but, you can only control so many factors in the game.
Yep.
So, but we do have some other clips from the game. You want to cue some of those up, Johnny?
Let's go. Where do you want to go?
Let's do the Camille Abily interview. We have another interview with Rachel talking to Camille Abily.
Actually, just to go back real quick to touch Camille Abily is, very well-known global French national team player.
Huge.
I would say equivalent to maybe like an Alex Morgan in France, where household, a lot of endorsements. But let's real quick hear what you had to say.
Charlie Flo World Sports Show. What does it mean for you guys to be down and just get 2 late goals in this game to win?
Yeah, it's really great. It was a tough game, and
actually, we're going to take another turn. We're going to find another cut. I'm just trying to find it here. I'm trying to.
Yeah, we have so many interviews of the same players. That's a good problem to have, John.
Just real quick, worldsportshow.com. We have all of our interviews on there. They're on our YouTube page.
channel.
But I'm going to take a quick cut. Really, I got about 6 here to play. So right before I play Camille, I'm going to go to Mark Sampson, coach, English national team.
After they beat the USA. So USA fans enjoy.
Massive win for you guys. When did you go over at halftime? Because you guys came out with a huge adjustment.
Well, I think at half-time, it was just about growing back in the game. It was about having a clean slate and starting again. We always play the game as 2 halves in terms of, we've done the first half, let's put that one to bed. Let's start a new game in the second. And we had to manage America's momentum. They were always going to come out fast. And it's just an unbelievably awesome crowd. It's something that we never experienced in our country, unfortunately. We'd love to get there. So we had to manage that. We had to, quieten the crowd a little bit, get some control in the game. And I always felt that the longer the game went on, the stronger England would get. And obviously that showed in the winning goal right at the end.
Definitely a coaching challenge for you, because about 35th minute and on for the half, just they threw everything at you guys. Just what does it say about your character team to handle such a barrage of attack?
Yeah, I think that's the key phrase from today, character. This team is full of winners. They're desperate to win, and they know they've got to find it any way possible to win and get themselves over the line. And incredibly proud of the players, because we've come so close to winning these big matches in recent times, but haven't quite managed to get over the line. And this result is not a fluke. It hasn't been a one-off. It's been coming. We've been close. We've been nearly there. We just needed to get over the line. And we've got a great learning mindset. We've got a great work ethic, and we're starting to now develop a real strong winning mentality.
Looking at Dole coming off a substitution, that must look really good for that player, for her confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we always felt that we had the boom squad to come in this half, and we knew from the start that we could manage the game, and then the guys come off the bench would make a big difference, and they certainly did. Those finishers came in and made a big impact. All the guys from the bench tonight, came in, impacted the game right at the end to manage and see out that last few spells. But it's what we pride ourselves on. We're a team of 23, and everyone plays their part.
You told me a couple of days ago your goal is to win this tournament. Now it's right in sight. It's in your control almost.
Yeah, we're right back in it. It's important in a 3-game event that if you lose your first one, you can't lose the second. So we came with that mindset today. We knew that a positive result would keep us in the tournament, and a win would give us a chance to win it. So we're going to go into USA now. We're going to recover, front up against Germany, and look to find a way to win that one as well.
Well, thank you for your time, Mark, and best of luck.
Thanks again.
And back to World Sports Show. That was English women's national team head coach Mark Sampson being interviewed by Charlie Flo. Again, Mark Sampson, a great insight to soccer. Basically, it's if we're looking behind the scenes, you're basically, we're doing a production. All right, we're going to interview Mark Sampson. You're like, all right, Charlie, ready, go. As soon as you put the mic up, instant. No hesitation, you're just getting straight feedback, and that's awesome. A lot of times, coaches have to pause and think, but he's media prepped. He's the real deal. He's a professional at it.
I mean, you look at England, the country that invented soccer, and the way the FA does. And if you're a fan out there, man, if you're a fan or a coach of just soccer in general, you don't got to be a fan of the USA. I'm a big fan of what FA TV does. For coaches out there, take a look at their YouTube channel. This is one thing that as media, there's a lot of media, you get shut out of practice events because you're media, because a lot of coaches don't want you to see. Mark opened the door up several times to us media, and I really got to actually chat and get to know him, that bringing in for training sessions, even FA TV on YouTube, they put their training sessions on. They have coaching tips. So to me, that's how you grow the game. I think you invite in fellow coaches, you invite in media. Hey, come see what we're doing. We're here to grow the game,
especially on the global level as far as women's soccer.
Yeah,
at that level, I mean, it's the English national team.
Yeah,
it's having the availability as media to come in and get the interviews, get the sound bites. It's just more exposure. You're increasing your stock.
Yeah, and England really gets that.
That's right.
I mean, and there's some great professionals with them. So we do have some other clips. We have Jordan Nobbs, who took quite a stinger to the nose, but she's the one that scored the goal in the first game. But I think she's probably one of my favorite players of this tournament. Just her wing play has just been amazing all tournament long.
Yeah, and that's a player that, you can talk to the crowd. Even players, kids who have no idea who she was, now it's getting to be, in America, she's been playing, and it's been obvious, it's been showing. So here we go. We'll play a little clip.
It's Charlie Flo, World Sports Show, Jordan Nobbs. Massive win. What does this do for your team's confidence going into the game against France?
I mean, just the belief in the team and the change room, and at the end of the game, I think it just shows how much we wanted to win the game today. And I think the last 5 minutes we're putting everything on the line, and I think you can see here as well. We'll do everything for the team, and I think right now we're in a great place, and we're just happy that we've won.
Anything about football is it's a game of halves. The first half USA just threw everything at you. You guys got the halftime reset button. What were some of the things that you guys went over strategy-wise with Mark to go in the second half and be much more competitive?
To be honest, I think probably first half we had more chances, but I think it was a great game of football to watch. I think both teams in the first half could have scored, but it's about taking your chances, and that's what we've been trying to work on as a team. And when it come down to the dying minutes, that's what we did. And I don't think we changed too much in the second half. I think we stuck to what we were doing well in the first, and luckily the goal eventually came.
There you go. Back to World Sports Show. Charlie Flo, John DeCrisio here at the Philly Camp Studios on 106.5 FM in Philadelphia, talking She Believes Cup. We are currently in round 2, and let's talk a little bit about U.S. women's national soccer team.
I think the big thing now is what this tournament is giving us. I know there's been a lot of skeptics out there, and a lot of critics out there, and a lot of fans that are wanting the results. But hey, let's look at this. We got players like Lloyd getting her first cap, Casey Short playing a little bit back. You got Mallory Pugh starting and playing full games. That is what I take from this tournament, the experience of throwing these players in against some of the best teams in the world. We have a lot of friendlies where the U.S. maybe plays like subpar type of ranked teams where we're beating them, 5-0.
That's right.
How much experience is a player like Lloyd going to get? Casey Short going to get what they got against Germany? England, priceless, man, as a coach.
I mean, just as proof, not by us. I mean, we're pretty good with analyzing this, but check out the interview on our YouTube, World Sports Show on YouTube, we've done with Alyssa Nair, where she explains, hey, you can't get repetitions in a game in practice. You have to have this 90 minutes. You have to get this exposure to really see how a player is, and to have players like Short, Lavelle, Pugh, it goes on. I mean, these players will be household names in about a year, maybe 2 years development.
And it's a good exposure. You look at each lineup from the game was almost completely different back line, different players running the wing. And I think that's the way to do it is you integrate it, half veteran, half young players, but still put out on a competitive team. And also, this is the best time in the world to experiment with that 3-back system. Is it working the best? We don't know because it's still to be determined. But doing a 3-back system against a team, like a smaller team in our confederation that we might beat 5-0, you're not going to get a true feel of can this 3-back system
That's
work.
Right.
You got to do it against England. You got to do it against Germany. And, my hat's off to Jill Ellis because she's trying it now, and you just have to overlook the critics and realize, hey, we have one goal. The next goal is to win the World Cup. Yes, it would be nice to win the She Believes Cup, but at the end of the day, nobody's going to remember who won this cup. You're going to remember who won the World Cup.
And just a little funny with Jill Ellis, what I did notice at Talon Energy Stadium, she was walking through the back, and she actually got her credentials checked. Like the security,
security's like, dude.
To security's credit, they get a lot of people going up and down.
They don't know.
Of people. It's mandatory no matter who it is. You get your credentials, but we're like, head coach.
It's funny you mentioned that because we saw Jim Curtin there, and he was wearing his credential, and one of the couple beat writers, which I won't name, were saying, I don't understand why Jim Curtin needs a press pass in his own stadium. And I said, he needs it on the road. What do you mean he needs it on the road? I'm like, you have to always have around, because these security guards don't know who you are. They work concert, Eagles games. They're not. Their job is not to know who the head coach is. Their job is to check the passes, and it blew my mind that a writer would even say that. Like, why does he need a pass?
Even if they need a pass, even if the security guard knows who it is, it doesn't matter who it is. Their job is to check your credentials.
There could be like that. Remember that Andy Reid lookalike guy? He shows up. Some guy looks like John DeCriscio, walks right in and takes his pass. So
let me tell you something. Nobody's going to walk in looking like John DeCriscio. But only number one here, baby.
So I think that the big thing now is how the veterans view these players coming up, because they're the ones that are spending the times, working out with them. So we talked to Abily Krieger about that.
How are they gelling with you guys?
Great. Honestly, they fit right in. They raise the level. They put fire underneath of us, especially veteran players. It's really good. It's a healthy, positive, growing atmosphere, and I'm so happy to be a part of it and to help them kind of come up through the ranks. I don't really focus on my caps, and I never really have. You probably know more about that than I do. So I just take one game at a time. But, Rose, I think tonight had a huge impact in the game. She had a few chances, and I was really proud of her to, have her first cap, her first game, and she did really well. And, that's what we need in this squad, and just to continue to lift the team and to put fire underneath of all of us. And it was really, really healthy. So for her and really positive for her. So I'm happy she had that experience.
And that was Abily Krieger at Talent Injury Stadium talking about the young players and integrating them into the system. So really great to speak with her. Oh, no, excuse me, that was actually the Red Bull game Saturday. But, after a loss, but you have to take the positives out of it. A loss is a loss, but what do you take from the match moving forward?
I mean, also just to give a segue, mailbag at worldsportshow.com. At the end of pretty much every show, we go over to mailbag, get your feedback, questions, comments, what you want on the air. Hey, anything goes. But we've had a lot of questions, comments about the U.S. women's national team, and people do want to hear what, Abily Krieger, Alyssa Nair, Mallory Pugh, and we try and deliver. So, we did a lot of coverage for this She Believes Cup, and check out on, social media, YouTube, 24 interviews. There you go. You want to hear some insight? 24 interviews talking about it on the air. We did, we got photography galleries, it goes on. So good coverage, and thanks everybody who helped us on the way, including, press officers and everybody. So we still got one more to go.
Yeah. Well, after a little bit of break, we're going to play some good audio from our past few weeks. And after the break, we're going to come back on with Sky Blue FC professional soccer player Rachel Breton. Right now, enjoy some of our good highlights from our past shows.
This is Denise Adams, and you're listening to World Sports Show on WPPM 106.5 Philadelphia.
Last week on World Sports Show.
Landry here from AC Fairfield, and Tariq here from AC Fairhill. So we have quite a mix of people that are youth coaches and are college coaches, basically all of us here right now. Even John, you coach youth soccer, and I think that's a big topic right now. We're going to talk about a lot of the youth development and intercity development of athletic programs. So are you guys based in North Philly, Fairhill?
Yes, we are.
Now, when did you guys start this whole program up?
We started the program August 2015 officially. We had a camp prior to that in July, or late June actually, 2015, that kind of kicked it off. But our first practice was August 2015.
So fairly young club in the infant stages.
Yeah, super young.
So most of your players you draw in from your program come from North Philly, am I correct?
All over the city, pretty much all over the city.
Yeah, I would probably say 3/4 of them come from the surrounding neighborhood. And then we have the other 25% that come from Southwest or Germantown. So
you try to bring them in. So you bring them in from all walks of the city, really?
Yeah, it's weird because we'll get a call like, "Hey, I'm coming in from the airport," and I'm like, "All right, we got practice at 6. I hope you can make it home in time."
You flying in players, then? This guy's already importing players second year.
So the parents like, "I get up at 5. I'm coming from Southwest." I'm like, "Well, we start at 6, so hopefully you guys can make it." So it's been exciting and interesting the first year and a half, 2 years.
What's some?
And now, back to the WPPM studios in Philadelphia. This is the World Sports Show.
And welcome back to World Sports Show on WPPM LP Philadelphia. I'm Charlie Flo. He's John Nicricio. Check us out on the social media verse at worldsportshow.com, on Instagram, on Twitter. Find us, like us on Facebook at World Sports Show. We've got a great guest on the line holding from Sky Blue FC and the beautiful, beautiful land of New Jersey, Rachel Breton. How you doing, Rachel?
Hey, what's up?
Just talking She Believes Cup, or are you a little warmed up? Because that was one heck of a couple games we covered cold.
That was not good.
I think
Allie Long tweeted, wow, like 26,000 fans in Antarctica and New Jersey, well done. But, like, it really did feel like Antarctica.
Yeah, you and I were bundling up in, like, sweatshirts that I had, like, in the back of my car. We had to take a couple fleece and just throw them on. And the lucky people were the people on the field, because there are times that I've played in cold weather games like that, and I'm sure you have too, where you just keep playing. You want to keep the ball moving.
Yeah, oh yeah. But I still feel like the first game was the coldest because the arena wasn't as packed. So it was a lot, and it was very windy. So that definitely made it really cold because there's not a lot of body heat. Like, every seat was filled from the last game, and so, we were pretty bundled up, so it wasn't that bad.
So an interesting experience for you. You've been on the player side, you've coached soccer, but now this was one of your first experiences being on the media aspect of it, and we just wanted to throw you in and figure out, hey, let's talk to Rachel what her experience is like from going from being interviewed to doing the interviews. What was that like for you?
It was cool. I mean, we talked about it. I feel because I am a player, I guess it's weird because I feel like fangirly. Like, hey, so Allie Krieger, I'll see you in a few weeks. How's it feel? It's weird, but it was a cool experience. And I gave you more credit because you're so fluid with questions and things to say, and I'm more of a, like, what you responded, like, what you got from me, I got an answer, not, hey, let me create all these questions off the top of my head and make it sound that I'm not robotic and not ask questions that are redundant and remedial. So I was like, uh-oh.
Well, I think that's an experience every player should take, because there are two sides to it. Reporters say about, how can that player not answer that question? Because you're put on the spot. And I like the roles to be reversed. What if a reporter was to get interviewed? Because then you have to really be careful what you say as well as a player. And I'm sure you're thinking about that when me and you were first starting interviews. Like, what's this guy's angle? What's he going after? Then you get relaxed and you establish those relationships with the players.
Yeah, true. But I always made sure, no matter what, you say things in a very positive light, which isn't too hard for me. But, because you don't know who's watching, who's listening, and especially since we're such a media technological era, words can be shifted and taken out of context, and then it's like, oh, well, the film doesn't lie. And you're like, well, that's not what I meant. So you just never leave it for anyone to toy with it,
Well, I think the one thing that always pops in my mind is, say, when I'm interviewing a player and I ask them about their teammates' play. In this day and age, when you say with all the media, nobody's going to say, yeah, she stunk, dude. She shouldn't even be on this squad.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's one of those things where you're fishing for that answer, but as a teammate, even if your teammate has a bad game, you still say, hey, man, he gave it a shot, she gave it a shot, and just came up a little short, but I think that's another thing, too, is you always stick up for your teammates, and I know that some media is always prying for that. They want that soundbite, or they want that nugget of there's a riff on this team.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's true. But now I think as you get older, too, you just start to appreciate athletes for athletes, because we're a different breed, and I don't mean that like, oh, look at us, like, look at us pros. I don't mean that at all. It's just, training with all these players during the off-season. Like, I trained with players from Orlando, players from Kansas, players from Boston, players from Houston, then obviously players from New Jersey. We're all just trying to just do our best. And I think reporters don't know that, and they just sit there to criticize, and media just there to criticize, coaches there to criticize. I would love for everyone to take a 100-day experience with that pro, seeing, hey, I wake up super early, I run, I diet, I can't do certain things because I want to make sure that I'm on the top of my game, whatever that means. and it can also be for naught because you won't get that playing time, or you will, or you get hurt, or you get drafted, or you get traded, or you get waived. There's so many things that happen that media they don't get. So I think I'm growing more of a respect for every individual player, regardless if I like them as a player or not, of their type of play, because we're all just grinding. It's not really about the money. It's more about how are you willing to go? Like, what kind of pain do you want to go through?
No, you hit the tip of the iceberg. I think I was talking to a friend the other day about, that I'm a goalkeeper coach, and 90% of my preparations during the week, game days are actually more relaxing for me because I've already picked my starter. He or she's already on the field. I've prepped them. There's little coaching I can do during the game because they're, a good 50, 60 yards away from me. I can do some hand gestures, talk to them for like 5 minutes at halftime. But I think that if you add up all the hours, a game is 90 minutes. But you look at, that's 90 minutes is not even but one single session during the week. And if you're doing 2-a-days, it's such a, like 10% of what you really see the coaching. And I think that's the one thing that media, like you and I just said, don't see. And when they're so easy to criticize, it's like, I want a hand, say, here, you go run a session, you set up a session, and you fix what's wrong. You might see, this team lost 1-0. They did all this wrong. Well, how about you go next day and work with that team and try to rectify that situation?
Right.
So it's easy to be a critic, but I mean, it's a lot of work. And even you realize too, on the media side, it's not as easy as just, I've become over the years easy at just making it a conversation, turning interviews into conversation. That's why you're probably one of my most favorite people to interview, because it's a conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. But I guess also with you, Charlie, and this is not because we're on your show, but because but you really do care. And I think that more people need to care. And I don't mean about the league or about a team. I mean about the individual. You care about the athlete. You care if someone's not playing or playing. You care if, they're enjoying their experience or not, if they're, at their prime or not. You respect them. And I think people should follow that lead. It can't all be about, and it's not, obviously you're in the limelight, so you are going to get criticized, but I think it would be great if people just in general put your shoes on, put themselves in your perspective. Maybe they would be a little bit nicer, or maybe they would understand.
Well, I think that the blessing in disguise is here is I was always that kid, mostly growing up on club teams, rec teams, that I was just trying to get in the 18. Just trying to get in the 18. It's not even getting on the field. It was like small goals. And then when your name starts getting called and you're actually getting on the field, you embrace it more. So I've been at that end. I've been at the benches end where I didn't play an entire game. But, and there's a lot of people that would say, I don't understand how the bench players are celebrating. I'm like, you don't understand. I still put the same amount of work as the starters in. Just because I'm not starting doesn't mean I didn't bust my chops all week. And I embrace those roles of being a backup time. Like, hey, my job is to make you ready for tomorrow. I know I'm not going to play. I know I'm not going to start. But if I've helped you in any way prepare, it's that team effort. And I think that's why I really embraced, and seeing athletes that struggle or may not get the play time, that, hey, that's a human being there that's helping that team.
Yeah.
So, but no, it's definitely an experience, and I'm very grateful and thank you for helping us out. I know you've got some other things in the work, and you're doing a lot of coaching and grinding, and there's a lot of behind the scenes, following players in the NWSL in the off season. We've had several on the show. I've done a couple of coaching sessions with. I've had NWSL players come to coaching sessions with me, and that people don't see that grind that you guys truly, your off season is just as much as a grind as your regular season.
Oh yeah, it's just it's a lot. It really is. I would be lying. Everyone's like, oh man, baller lifestyle, and it's very far from. You don't know how I dream of having a 9-to-5.
You don't want it, Rachel. I've done the 9-to-5 world. I still kind of have a 9-to-5 job, but stability. A lot of people want that stability, but I mean, I think you have.
Yeah.
You have too much of a personality to be canned up in an office building, dude. You would.
9-to-5 doesn't necessarily mean I got to be in their office. It just means I just have to have some sort of stability of doing something from 9 to 5.
I mean, it doesn't have to be 9 to 5, but no, I get what you're saying, and I know that you're out there trying to make it work, and anything we can do to help you, because I know you're really versed in the social media aspect, and that's a big thing. And I think nobody's better to handle most social media than you, someone who's been on the end of coaching. You've been on the end as a player. I follow on all your social media outlets, and you're a pleasure to watch. I mean, you're very talented with the camera, so I mean, it's definitely a pleasure to have any type of work that you've done for us.
I really appreciate that, and vice versa. It's good stuff.
John, do you have any comments to make there?
Just don't take my job.
I won't. I would never.
Good
Actually,
stuff, though.
You probably would have done a better job. Everyone, when I was holding the camera, everyone's just shoving me to the left and right. Like,
Yeah, Rachel. John's a little bit bigger than you. He's got you beat by a good foot. So that was the one thing that you learned about how there's some people in media, they're there for their own agenda, and man, you just really have to bump them out of the way, and you got to get your job done.
I know, but it's it's just like it's so crazy. It's just not my character. It's not my character to be like, because I'm an extremist, so I'm like too polite or I will destroy your world. So it's like I was like, okay, I can't make a scene here. It's my first time like U.S. soccer game. I really had to be well behaved, like just like okay, like I'm not going to be like stand your ground.
And that's how I am. You saw me there. I'm putting out the stiff arm, man. I'm like, pushing people, backing them off while I'm interviewing. I'm using one hand to hold the mic and using the other hand to push people away from me. So, and
you're good with that though, and you got that good face. Like
you got that good face. Thanks.
No, you got to like don't mess with me face, and I have to like I have candy, like just walk right by. Like, I'm like smiling and waving. That means like no. But they're like, oh, okay, and just shove the camera. Like cool.
Well, for the fans out there that don't realize, Rachel Breton is part Canadian, so I think we really just found your Canadian blood right there.
Oh, yes, that is true. I'm just like, hey,
come on right through. Just walk right through our shoot. I'm sorry to get in your way.
Yeah, that is really true.
No, I must say that was a very funky setup, and you got to experience a mixed media zone at its worst. They set up the mixed media zone in a operations main thoroughfare.
Yeah, something else.
I felt like we were in the Lincoln Tunnel, man.
But that's a little bit wider.
But no, it was a pleasure having you, and definitely John and I are looking forward to getting up to some Sky Blue games out there. And I think there's a lot of things the fans don't realize, that you take it upon yourself to do a lot of community outreach. I mean, we're seeing you at hospitals and helping kids out, and a lot of it you just go and do, and I'm learning that about you, and it just makes me such a fan of you as a person.
Oh, I really appreciate that, Charlie. Thank you. But honestly, share this, people, because you should be doing it too. Not you, but you as a general. Like, I don't know why we think we're entitled in any way. We should really be giving back as long as we can, forever.
No, it is so true. It's so true, because I'm sure the little smile these kids have, and just the title you have as a professional footballer, it carries weight, but it can have such an impact on a child. I've seen John and I have had professional athletes come out to our sessions. They don't get excited for me and John. We're just coaches, because no kid's going to celebrate a coach. But again, thank you for calling to the show, Rachel, and thank you for helping us out. Appreciate everything you do, and we'll see you soon, Rach.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
And that was Rachel Breton, Sky Blue, helped us out with World Sports Show, doing some reporting this week. Really great stuff to say.
That's right.
Looking at the local chapter, Philadelphia Union, we're on a little late night on a Sunday night. Man, playing a Walking Dead time, man, at 9:30 on a Sunday night, but went into Vancouver, pulled off a 0-0. I think the big story that's getting a lot of waves is Derek Jones, the local product and former junior Lone Star player. I mean, what a story.
That's right. Local, anything local. We love our local players here in Philadelphia, which I don't think we nowhere near get enough credit for. There's a lot of good soccer players, and to see a player come up through the ranks, first homegrown player to touch Union starting 11 status.
That's awesome.
It's top.
We've had a lot of academy players, guys that get sniffs, but to be in the 11 and play and impact the game directly.
That's right. And to come off, I'm thinking, maybe take a couple games to get the feet under. Look, rookie first game, had a great game. I mean, talking to people across the board, Water Core talking in the morning about the Union, I haven't heard nothing lower than a B-. But as far as an opening game for a B- pro player away in Vancouver, one of the toughest places away, going across country.
Separate time zones, too. You're
very
playing out of
good.
your element. I mean, hats off. I mean, I really think that actually I would actually tip him as player of the game just for everything that was on his shoulders last night.
Hey, I can't disagree with you there. And also in the mailbag, a lot of people asking about coverage for the Union, if we're going to be down there. They want to hear us stay tuned in here to listen. We get a lot of, questions about the Union. So, hey, stay tuned here, 9 to 10 Monday nights. World Sports Show will try and deliver.
Yeah, only FM station in Philadelphia covering the Union, covering them all season. So definitely look forward to this Saturday. Get down there. Plenty of tickets available. Get down to Talent Energy Stadium. Check them out. They're playing runners-up MLS, team that knocked them out of the playoffs. So I think it's kind of a little bit of irony there. The team that knocked the Union out of the playoffs is coming here for the home opener.
That's right, Toronto.
So also some other big events we're going to talk about a little bit. We're going to dip into the mailbag, and then we're going to talk a little bit about Bear Fight. They had some big events, but let's dip into the mailbag. I have quick questions. We'll fire them off.
Mailbag at worldsportshow.com. That's the email that goes directly to me. And not Charlie, of course, because he gets his
even though I'm reading them, I'm doing the easy part.
You got the hard copy to read off here, but a lot of shout outs, especially from if your local club does something special, has people to celebrate, fire them in. We'll try and mention on the air.
Yeah. Amy from Voorhees, New Jersey writes in, can the U.S. women be successful with a 3-5-2 formation?
Ooh, Amy, we tried talking about it a little bit during the show. It's going to take a while to actually evaluate what's going on. But for me, I'm going to successful. I think they could be successful with it. But will they maximize performance? I don't think so. I mean, with that talent, they can be successful with basically playing one defender and be fine. But to have three defenders when you have two star central.
I think you have to use it per team. Some teams you can get away with a 3-5-2. Some teams you can't.
You can, but I'm not a believer of switching.
You really?
Game
Okay.
to game. That's just you. My opinion.
So thank you. Jerry from Ridley Park, what's your biggest concern position-wise for the Union this season?
Going to me? I'll field that question.
Okay.
Striker. That's my concern. I mean, that just pops out because the style of Union play, a lone striker who, basically it's a streaky position where it's got to be a lot of service. And if the striker's getting that finishing touch, the Union are going to win their share of games. But if not, they're not going to fare so well. But as of right now, I mean, the crucial areas are, holding midfielder where they have a couple guys out of position. And, I guess it looked, if it was before last night's game, I would have said center back, but it looks like Onyewu looked pretty good.
Held it down, man.
Looked pretty good so far, so I can't really say center back. And, Richie Marquez has been solid for a couple years now, so I'm going to have to go with striker. Until they get stability at striker, I mean, defensively they're not a bad team, but, if they can tip the scale on offense, I think that, that'll be your playoff decision right there.
Yeah, we know what he can do in the backfield. I'm fine with the goalkeeper. I'm fine with the back line. Same thing. Need a perennial goal scorer. A guy can get double-digit goals for us this year.
There you go. I mean, as far as your backs, I'm not worried about. Keeper, you're not worried about. Midfielders, it depends on how they're going to line up that day. Bedoya is fine, but I think that, they just got to keep the right players and get them in there. I like Pontius on the outside, but that striker's key. I mean, that finishing touch is crucial. Finish him.
All right. One more question. We'll wrap up the mailbag. Tammy from Washington, D.C. Who is the best coach in the She Believes Cup so far?
Ooh.
Some good coaches to go from.
Best coach. I mean, from what I've seen, after the first game, I would say France's coach, just for the balance and consistency all the way around. And second, I'd have to say England.
Yeah, Mark Sampson.
And not just because we had him on, because of what he's done and his approach and his attack and how it came out.
Yeah, one thing about England, they didn't park the bus. You look at that, there were some times where they had to park the bus based on situation, where they have 5 dropping back, but they'd still push up. Yep. And that's the thing is they weren't just counterattacking, they were actually going head-to-head to the USA. So we also had a big event down in Wilmington, Delaware yesterday. You and I went down to the beautiful, beautiful shores of Wilmington, Delaware, and got to see our friend Jeremy Sharp and Big Alex, or not Big Alex, Big Kev, and then Alex Medina was on the show last week, and they had their first game in the city of Wilmington. So we had some clips from that.
All right, so we talked to Bear Fight FC captain Alex Medina.
World Sports Show here with Alex Medina. Bear Fight FC, you guys have a 3-3 draw here in the beautiful city of Wilmington. What's it mean to actually play right here in the city of Wilmington and just have all the fans out here supporting you guys?
It's a great feeling. We had a great fight. Look at the players. They did great. They do amazing job. And having our fans here, it's a great, you feel more power, and you get that extra push from people that are here looking at you from supporters, and it's a great feeling. It's an amazing feeling.
And now we're going to go to an interview with Jeremy Sharp, the president of Bear Fight FC.
This is Charlie Flo, World Sports Show. I'm here with Bear Fight FC's Kevin and Jeremy Sharp. How did this all get started? Let's go back to the beginning.
Oh, my God. The beginning was 3 guys in a pub who one day went, we're going to start our own soccer club. You know, people were telling us every time we complained about how things ran at higher levels, start your own stuff. So we did. So that's really 3 guys in a pub who thought we could do this. And here we are today, finally in our home city, putting on a match. It was phenomenal. I can't say enough about how much these guys worked to make this happen. Amazing.
Definitely a community event. You got tacos here, families, kids running around, everybody wearing different hats. You know, let's just break it down for everybody out there. What were some of the roles that you did today, Kevin?
So I set up the giant banner by the entrance to the field there. I've been selling merch all day today with my wife. We had an injured player. I was doing some massage work, above the belt massage work.
Wearing many hats, that's okay. And Jeremy, your official title of the club is president. You know, I mean, just to see today that you had a couple hundred fans out here, and you and I were talking pregame. You were worried about maybe only 3 people showing up, but to see a couple hundred show up, what does that do for you, just the feeling-wise, how this club's going to grow?
It was a huge boost. Our biggest goal from day one is to get into this community in Wilmington and give them soccer, bring soccer here into the city, and to see that turn out today. And that was my players spreading the word, my officers spreading the word. Phenomenal. I was absolutely, like, when it started and I looked in that crowd, I had no words. It was everything I kind of wanted it to be. I was amazed.
And back to the World Sports Show. Charlie Flo, I'm John DeCrisio on 106.5 FM in Philadelphia. WorldSportsShow.com. Check us out on all the social medias. And back by popular demand, as we talk about the end of every show, it is one of my favorite segments. And here we go. Now it's time for the weekend soccer butt whoopings from around the world. Our weekend butt whooping of the weekend goes...
Brought to you by Butt Whippings.
Brought to you by Butt Whippings. Goes to the CONCACAF Caribbean Club Tournament held over the past weekend.
Okay.
So we have a team USR, which is St. Rose of Guadalupe, against Police FC. Yeah, that's Police. The Police FC.
Sting on that team?
Of Montserrat, which is an island. Population, 4,900 people, which ranks right around 233rd in the world. Where I got to say Guadalupe is about 402,000
God, I got a player
people.
actually there from Philly U.
There you go.
There we go.
Interesting. So, wow, that's a 1 out of 105,000 chance of knowing somebody from the country.
Best central backs on our team.
So, USR 16, Police FC 0.
Woo!
So, I can't remember.
Couple touchdowns and 2-point conversion.
I can't remember over a 10-0 game that
Dude.
we've talked about, but yeah, it's...
Call the police.
Call the police is right.
Been a great show. Thank you to all of our guests. We're going to be getting out of here. Oh, I thought we were getting out of here, but anyway.
You hear the music, we get out of here.
Yeah,
that's the roll of the show.
Just reminding everybody tuning in. We'll be back next week, 9 o'clock, same time, same place. WorldSportsShow.com. Check us out, WPPM Philadelphia.